Hello guys, today we are going to take a look at a creation crate, and what that is a little box containing all the components you're going to need to go through a little electronics project. So how the creation crate works is you sign up for a subscription of however many months that you want, and each month creation crate send you a new project containing everything you need to complete the project, including the manual. So the company has sent us in this month's project, and we're going to open it up in a second, but let's take a look at their website first and I'll show you the different kind of projects that you can expect to get from this company. So if we take a little look at their website, we'll have a better idea of what Creation Crate are all about. We even see on the logo at the top there, building the makers of tomorrow. So it's all about getting people the tools they need to get started as a maker or as an electronics hobbyist. We can see here that in your little creation box that you get each month, you get an Arduino R3, a number of components that you need to build the various projects, and the instruction book to help you build the projects. So it's all in a kind of a step-by-step procedure, and you have all the bits that you're going to need, and that makes things much easier when you're trying to learn. And here's some examples of projects. There's month one, a little mood lamp. It must have some multicolored LEDs probably underneath the little cover there. Next one is a little memory game. Probably the LEDs flash and you have to hit the buttons in the particular sequence. Distance sensor, that's a good one for if you're planning to make robots or anything like that. It's a good module to, or a good code to learn, I suppose. LED dice game again. This is all about learning to control outputs, control LEDs, control outputs, and control inputs to read from switches. There's a little buzzer, another control of an output. So it's all about learning how to control inputs and outputs. Here's an interesting one, an optical theremin. It must be a photo resistor there, I think that's what's on the end of that board. And then this one is another little reflex game, so I guess you hit the buttons in sequence with the lights again, something like that. And if we scroll down, this is the packages that they have here. So if you just want to try it out for 1 month, it'll cost you $30 US, and all the way up to a 12-month subscription is going to cost you $22.49 per month. So considering that you get the Arduino R3 and you get all the components, and someone's gone to the trouble of preparing the manual for you, so you don't have to go putting all the plan in place yourself, it's probably quite a reasonable price for that kind of project and that way of learning how to use these kind of devices. So as you see from the website, there's lots of interesting projects that they send each month. Now I don't actually know what's in this box, so it'll be a bit of a surprise for me too. So let's crack it open and see what's in it. I noticed that this one came from an address in Belgium, so it's obviously open to European customers, even though on the website the prices are in dollars, so don't be put off by that if you're a European customer. So let's see, what do we have in here. Our little box contains a bubble wrapped package here, so let's say it's reasonably well packaged. Like I said, it only came from Belgium, so it didn't have very far to travel. We have a nicely finished little book here, given all our instructions. So what is our project? We're making a mood lamp today, it says there. Today we're making a mood lamp. So I've spread out the contents of the kit here. We've got a few little stickers there, I am a maker and tech inspired. We have a little cartoon picture here, separate each wire. And if we look at our wires here, we have quite nice jumper wires. They use DuPont connectors, 2.54mm connectors. They are the same type of connectors that I use on my tractors, and I find them to be very reliable. Some of the other wires you get, the real cheap ones on eBay, like this one for example, yeah, you get them on eBay very cheaply, but the little pins, they can break here and they'll stay stuck in the plastic, so it feels like they're still connected, but they'll be broken from the wire here, and then you're trying to chase down a signal problem, and it turns out that it's the little plastic thing is stuck on. If you actually tug the plastic thing when the wire's broken like that, the plastic piece can come off, and you know, once you've lost that signal, you can waste loads of time looking for it. So there's an example of one that's actually been broken and the thing came off it. So these wires are much better, so that's a good choice of wire there. I'm very impressed with that. As an example, here's the wires that I made up for myself, so you can see that I do use those DuPont connectors on everything, and those connectors will perfectly match the Uno we have here. And if you can see in, I'll open it up, sure. When we look in our little kit here with our Uno, they have provided the 2.5mm male header if you needed it, so that's a nice extra feature there to have when you want to move to your own soldered breadboards. Instead of your solderless breadboard there, you have the header that you'd need to plug into your Arduino. So that's the Arduino Uno, and it looks like quite a good quality board there. Everything looks nice and tidy on it, so it doesn't look like a really cheap Arduino Uno. We have a little cable here. That is probably a decent cable. I have one that looks very similar to that and works well. Sometimes when you buy the really cheap Arduino Unos on eBay, the cable that you get with them is rubbish. The shielding is crap, and you end up again messing around trying to figure out why your program isn't working when it's actually just the signals here aren't getting sent properly to the Arduino Uno. So that looks like a good Arduino Uno to me, but once we test it out we'll know for sure. We have our solderless breadboard there. Not much you can really say about that. It looks like a decent breadboard. Does it have power rails? That's usually the better. Yeah, so we have good power rails there, and it actually feels like a good solid solderless breadboard. Again, when you get the cheap ones on eBay, you can kind of feel when they're a bit more crusty than the good quality ones, I suppose. We have our little bag of components here, so maybe we'll zoom in and take a closer look at those components. So here are the components that were in the little bag. We have our jumper wires here, little solid wires. They're always useful on the solderless breadboard. We have a little photoresistor here. There's our little photoresistor, just zoomed in a little bit. We have a few little LEDs, yellow, red and green. And then we have a power resistor here, which is 2.2k. 2.2k is quite a high resistance. I'm not sure why they chose a power resistor. I think you'd need quite a bit of power to get a 2.2k resistor to heat up, but maybe they were just trying to be extra safe because these kits could also be used by children as well, so it's probably a good feature. Everything in the kit seems to be a really good quality to me. It looks like they put a lot of thought into choosing their components and everything. When I first got the review, I was a little worried that the components would be, the cheapest stuff that you could get on the Shenzhen market, the kind of stuff that you get on eBay for fractions of a cent, which is fine when you know that's what you're getting, but when you want a kit like this, you kind of want it to be a bit of quality to it, and they definitely appear to me to have knocked it out of the park in that respect. Everything seems to be a really good quality to me. I mean, when you're looking at jumper cables that are made with DuPont connectors, you know that they've put a bit of effort into it. The last thing in our kit, as I didn't mention, was this little globe thing. So that's part of our little lamp. I suppose it's the lampshade really. Let me take a look at that. Little injection molded structure. I guess that must fit over an LED or something. Obviously we'll find out when we put the project together. This is like a little dome shaped thing, so that's good. So we'll see how that works out when we put the project together. So like I said, I'm not going to build the project in this video. I'm going to do it in a live stream. I think the live stream will be on Saturday the 25th at 8 PM Irish time here, which is around about 2 o'clock over for the guys in the States. So I think that's kind of about as reasonable as I can do to keep both the European and the American viewers happy. Hopefully a bunch of you guys will tune in and have a few questions for us as we work through the project. And with any luck it'll go reasonably straightforward. I doubt we'll run into much trouble with it really. So just to sum up, everything looked great so far. The little manual looks to be done out really well. There's quite extensive code in it, considering it's just flashing a few LEDs, so they've put a lot of effort into that. It's well commented. The components that we've got are also of good quality, so really I think it's a good value for money, especially for beginners, because you'll gain a lot of experience with digital and analog inputs and outputs with projects like this that will hopefully give you ideas that you can bring to your own projects later on. Because it's all basically the same. Even our tractors, they just rely on digital outputs to control motors, and the controllers rely on analog inputs to read from your joysticks. So the same principles that we're going to be using in this project are applied in all of the vehicles that I make. It's just, instead of only having one input, we're using maybe 10 on the controller, or actually not, we're probably using about 30 really, maybe 20 digital and maybe 10 analog. So the basic principles that you learn here with these simple projects, you basically just expand on them to make the more complex projects later on. So that's the Creation Crate. If you want one, head over to mycreationcrate.com, and like you seen earlier, you've a couple of different options. You could just sign up for 1 month and try it out, or you could sign up for 6 or 12 months, whatever way you think works best for you. So far it looks good, and hopefully when we do the stream, the project will work out perfectly for us and the code will all be 100%. So I think that's all I have to say about the Creation Crate today, so I'll see you in the live stream.